From New York and on the new Hot 97 app, Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
It's Ebro in the morning. The amazing, talented Laura Stiles and the untalented, not on his game, trying to act like he's into basketball just because Macklemore's here. Rosenberg and the amazing Macklemore. There you go. Give it up. 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 Yes.
Macklemore is back and alive and well. Let's start right there.
Wait, was there ever a moment you thought he wasn't alive or well?
That head-on collision.
About
But
the
he
accident.
slipped. It's nothing.
Scared me, though. That was a scare, though,
That's
huh?
scary.
It was a scare. And a drunk driver.
I know.
Oh, man.
A drunk
I didn't know that.
driver. Yeah, he hit me probably going 50 and head on.
So what's the exact situation? Can you take
So
us through
I'm
it?
with my nephews. We're on an island where my parents live a little bit outside of Seattle. And I'm about to hit the turn. This guy comes out of nowhere taking the turn at 50 miles an hour, which is like you got to hit it at 15 to make the turn type of turn. And he almost tips his car, completely veers into my lane and just smashes me. And there was that like split second of I'm going to die, psh, blasted. And the airbags going, they go off. There's all the debris
Your nephews
in the
are in
air.
the back?
Yes. My nephews are in the back. And,
Thank God, by the way.
Yeah. Thank God for the Maybach.
It was the Maybach.
It was the Maybach.
We never talk about the Maybach safety.
Mercedes-Benz
Okay.
safety
Yes.
is unprecedented.
Which is why I got it. That was why
Right.
I got it.
It was a rational decision.
Yes.
It was between a Volvo and
the
the
Maybach.
Maybach.
The
And you were like,
Maybach.
safety in the Maybach.
And so at what point you get smashed, how long does it take for you to realize what's going on and that you're okay and all that?
It was pretty quick. I mean, those airbags in the Maybach are no joke.
Wow.
They saved our lives. I mean, if I would have been like in a Prius, it would have been game over.
If you're in a smaller car.
If I was in a smaller car, it would have been game over for sure.
And what happened to the individual? Because you always hear the stories that the individual that is the drunk driver lives and everyone else.
Right. No, he was like, I thought that he was dead for sure. Like I got my nephews kind of calmed down. The paramedics and the squad showed up. Cops came. So they kind of held with the nephews. And then I walked over to the car like I'm about to see a dead body. And he was, I couldn't even see him. He was completely covered in blood. His head had hit the windshield. I can't believe he didn't go through the windshield.
So but he was all right?
Yes, he was all right.
And what's going to happen now from a legal perspective?
I'm not snitching.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna just
I'm not going to snitch.
You're right, 100%. Not saying a word
But he
about
was
it.
drunk, and no,
Yeah.
I don't honestly know. I mean, hopefully he gets. The crazy part about it is I felt grateful because I have been in the past. I've been drinking alcohol in 10 years, but I have been on the other side of that, and thank God, never got in an accident, never killed anybody, never totaled a car. But that could have been me, so I felt really grateful for my sobriety, and hoping that guy gets the help that he needs. Hopefully he finds a hall and gets his ish together.
Man, that's crazy. And I guess physically, I mean, there's the emotional side of it, right? How old
Right.
are your nephews?
10 and 14.
Yeah, that's
So
tough.
they're going to remember that for the rest of their life.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
for
that's
sure.
not something
I was
that's-
out with my uncle, and that's for the
Yeah.
rest of life.
That's shit.
Yeah.
Have you talked to them about how that kind of
Yeah.
getting in and out of cars, how do they feel?
Yeah, I mean, I think particularly for my 14-year-old nephew who will be driving soon or going to high school this year, like how serious it is. I've lost people in my life to this. There was a girl in my school that died who's Ryan's wife's sister. She died when we were in high school.
Wow.
So it's very serious. So and then 2 weeks later, I went back to the same island, and I'm driving by my parents' house. About 200 yards down the road, I see another flipped car. I'm the second person to the scene. This car is flipped in a way that I'm like, I'm about to see some dead bodies right now. He was drunk. It's just like, it's crazy, man.
Here's the
What's this island?
Whidbey Island.
And
you know
this
what,
is-
Ebro, or no?
I mean, I know there's a couple of islands
Yeah,
that
there's
sit
a lot.
outside. What is that, Puget Sound? Is
Yeah.
that right? Outside of Seattle. And they're amazing. They're beautiful. And, the way the weather works in Seattle, you know how it rains all the time? There's like this weather crescent where it rains in Seattle, but these islands sit out there and it's like doesn't rain as much or something like that out there. It's really nice. But I asked because
Like, what are people doing out there?
what's going on?
mean,
Yeah,
they're
people are
partying
drinking.
probably. Yeah, drinking, hanging out.
There's no Ubers. There's no buses. And people just get loaded and get in their car.
Here's the thing that blows my mind about drinking and driving. You're not only an asshole for drinking and driving, period. Like you just can't get a ride or figure it out or wait for a cab or whatever it may be. So you're one level of asshole. But then there's the next level of asshole. And this is like speaks for the person who killed my brother-in-law and sounds like the person who hit you in your accident. That not only are you wasted and an asshole, but you're wasted and speeding. You're not even the wasted asshole who's
Right.
like, let me just drive
Yeah.
10 miles an hour and
Don't
make
get
it home.
arrested.
Nah, you're wasted and you're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
bro,
that's
the
the
worst.
piece of the drinking and driving is you don't realize sometimes how fast you're going. You don't realize because you're drunk and your judgment is impaired.
Right.
You don't even understand that you're completely out of control. This guy's
Right.
coming around a corner that you say is clearly something that you're supposed to slow down and take.
Yeah.
He's coming around at 50 miles an hour because he doesn't know what the fuck's going on because he's wasted.
Yeah.
So crazy. Anyways, we're glad you're all right, man. That was
Yeah.
and your
Thank
nephews.
you.
I mean,
Appreciate
you're
that.
so all right that you haven't even pointed out this Blazers jersey. You're a Seattle guy. You guys have lost your team to the Oklahoma City, which is its own conversation. But you're purposely wearing taunting
no.
and
Yeah,
wearing a
what-
Blazer.
what was the move?
Seattle wants nothing to do with the Blazers. You realize?
I know, and I didn't think about. So what happened was this morning I realized it's been cool for like the last couple weeks, and then as of like yesterday, it started getting hot again. So I was like, oh damn, I'm gonna wear shorts today, and then I was like, my wrestling t-shirts, I don't have a lot of white, so when I put on blue shorts, I don't have wrestling t-shirt options. So I was like, you know what? I went to a Mitchell Ness party this week. I haven't worn a jersey in a long time.
Yeah.
And I just went and I went, can my fat ass squeeze into the Drexler one? Barely, but I did. And that was it. And then when I come in, I was like, oh,
It is kind of fitting you like a spank, though.
No, it is.
Stop,
A little bit,
stop.
a little spankish.
It's a little spankish, no,
What's
for
that
sure.
thing, like faja? Is that what the girls wear? A little body shape? You got a body shape on.
Yeah, no, I got a body shaper jersey on. But and then I was like, oh, yeah, Ben is a big Seattle guy.
Yeah.
So do you have negative feeling towards the Blazers?
I actually don't. It's Clyde, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. No. I mean,
You respect the glide.
yeah, I respect Clyde. Like, we don't have a team anymore. We don't have a
So
team.
who are you to
I'm
be
not,
upset about
yeah,
anything?
I'm like, the only team that I'm mad at is the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's it. Everyone else can live.
Is the whole city mad at the Oklahoma City Thunder?
I hope so. I mean, I would say yes. If anyone's not,
So that takes me somewhere else. That's honestly probably like you're one of the cities that were happy to see Kevin Durant leave.
yes.
Oh, that's
Yes.
interesting.
Oh,
Never
I was
thought
so
about it.
Because he
pumped.
started as a supersonic.
I was
He
so
played
pumped.
there, and then
I mean, the fact that they're never gonna get a ring. They're never gonna get a ring. I love it. I love it. I hate him, man.
Petty.
I
I
hate
love
him.
I
it.
never knew
That's
that.
so
I love the
Yeah,
pettiness.
I was so pumped.
So wait, so now the Seahawks, obviously,
Yes.
and you saw what happened with Michael Bennett.
Yes.
And Michael Bennett's been sitting for the national anthem. I mean, he sat last year, he's sitting this year. You have made songs about obviously whiteness and racism, and before a Charlottesville, before a Donald Trump, right? And now all of the things you've discussed or tried to educate people in your music, the train kept going. The train has left the building, and now we are watching somewhat of like a speeding train, almost like out of control in America, dealing with a president who is so insensitive almost to like the racial dynamics of our country.
That was a very polite way of putting it.
There's no almost there.
He's super insensitive.
Yes.
The reason I put almost is because sometimes it's hard for me to believe he's that insensitive, and I think he's just a racist. I think he's just an asshole. And on
That's where I
purpose,
thought you would start.
I think he's, but for some
you're being a
reason I think
professional.
he's, I don't know. Anyway, what is your take on all this? I mean, it's a lot, but
Yeah.
So what do you think of what's going on? Period.
Yeah.
did you think it would get this bad? Let's start there.
No, I think that when Trump was first elected, I thought, okay, I didn't want to be like the guy that's like, oh, let's see how he does. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, no, like I was not that guy. I was the
Fuck this guy.
this is horrible. Fuck
Yeah.
this dude. And then he got into office, and I was like, wow, I can't believe the blatant racism that's happening. I can't believe the blatant prejudice. I can't believe that the advocating for whiteness in America the way that he has, just with no reserve. Like, no, like, okay, I'm going to play defense a little. No, like, this is about, like, upholding white supremacy in America. That has been Trump's agenda. He has not sugarcoated shit. This is what he is about.
Oop, don't say that word, white supremacy. Now you're saying something crazy. Who could
Yeah.
ever say anything like that? It's shocking.
Jamel Hill.
Yeah.
She just said that. I mean, people have been saying this for months now, and now it's a big deal that Jamel Hill said it on her Twitter.
Well, it's a big deal, I guess, because you say it and you're associated with you say it from your Twitter account and you're associated with a big company. But yeah, I don't think it's what you just said was anything crazy.
I think that people get so offended by the word white supremacy because they don't know what white supremacy is.
Try
They
to-
think
can you
that
break it down for
sure,
'em?
sure,
Break it
sure.
down for 'em.
They think that
Break it
is
down like this.
they think it is a a skinhead or a neo-Nazi, which it is. But white supremacy as a systemic form is the system which upholds whiteness. And what whiteness is and what white supremacy is the belief that white is better, that whiteness is what we are told in television, what is, you can turn on the TV and you can see white people. You can see all the people in entertainment. This is what the norm is. That is the institution that upholds it. And this is not just like a social ideal. This has been implemented through laws throughout the history of America. I mean, this dates back to slavery. This is Jim Crow. This is who can vote, who can't vote.
Take your
This
time.
is the history. This is the history of what America is. And this is not just an idea. This is white supremacy. This is what America has been based off of. And nothing has changed. Like, little things have changed throughout time, right? Like, we've had little victories. But in terms of the big picture, white supremacy is still very much an active, systemic form of oppression that is happening right now.
How frustrating is it to you when people, other white people, if you were to have this conversation, maybe you've had this, maybe family members, my favorite thing, but I'm not racist. That's the first thought is, but I'm not racist. To which I always think, well, first of all, you might be. Second of all, that's not what this is about. It's deeper than rap. Like, this is not just as simple as one person being racist. To your point, it's systemic. The country was founded on racism, right? And at no point have we had full upheaval. So slavery was the foundation of the entire country. That's how it was built. And though the civil rights movement happened, though Barack Obama was president, though all these great things have happened, at no point was there a complete teardown and we have to start over.
Right.
So how could it ever completely go away?
Right.
And yet when you bring it up, I find that other white people, and by the way, shout out to all the commenters in YouTube right now. This snowflake paradise you have to deal with seeing me and Macklemore together. Oh my God, the cuckold fucking snowflake pussy pieces of shit that we are sitting right here. Shout out to y'all. But it's so frustrating to me to see that people can't recognize it and assume like it would have just changed why would it change?
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we have to chip away at it. And it's not going to fully happen in our lifetimes. Like, we will make progress. We have made progress. But, you look at it, you look at Trump, and what he has been an advocate for is hatred, is division, is separating people. And where, Barack did the best that he possibly could in terms of bringing people together. This has been, he has brought the racism out.
Yep.
From behind the walls and the curtains, and now it's okay. And you see these young kids and people on, the internet, but in real life, people are like, okay, I'm just gonna be racist in public now. It's okay.
Yep.
Like our president is,
Yeah.
I can do it.
Bro, did you see Kid Rock speaking in Detroit the other day?
No.
Jeez, yeah.
I heard he was upset that people were calling him racist.
Yes.
He said, what did he say? I love black people.
Yeah, he hit you with that I love black.
Yeah,
he
he
got
said
up
that.
he got up at his rally. And by the way, if I know Ebro as well as I do, I'm pretty sure the reason he kicked his feet up was to say, kicking my feet up and letting the white guys handle this racism talk. I'm pretty sure that's what you were doing. I know you so well. So Kid Rock got on stage in Detroit and is running for Senate, apparently. And when he got up to do this crazy speech, went first thing out of the gate, his first topic when running for Senate was about single moms milking the system dry. That was his, and talked about ghetto, what did he say?
Ghetto gangster, something.
Ghetto gangster wannabes or something
that's
like
what it
that.
was,
And the people were screaming and cheering. And I just
He had
thought,
his guitar with it too.
Yeah.
It was like he had his blues riffs going, you know.
Yeah,
it's
so he'd be like-
his Americana like blues riffs on every punchline, like he was a reverend almost.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You know, taking
It's pretty
his
bad.
cues from Black church.
yeah, that was the
You know what I'm saying?
amazing part. To do public racism
Well, the whole thing is
Black church. To have it rip-
well, it's his whole thing, the rap, the country music. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you guys know what Black people have done for American music. I mean, the
Right.
whole thing is based on that. But I think
But it's
there-
okay now, to your point, publicly. He was saying it publicly as a white man. I mean, he didn't come out and say the N-word, sure. Everyone acts like that's the only line. Like, as long as you don't yell the N-word in a black person's face,
You're not
it's
racist.
not racist.
Yeah.
Like, they don't understand the whistles, like how clear it is.
Well, I think too, we got to get to a place where we're having a discussion about what being American is, right? Because I feel like there are people who think that being American has something to do with just upholding whiteness when you clearly look at what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be about inclusion. It was supposed to, this was the marketing that was sold to the world was this inclusive place where you could be whomever and you would be accepted, right?
Right.
And I think that that's the piece where it's like, well, if you're not doing that, are you really American? Right? Because there's no such thing like what's white culture?
Yeah.
Like
Well, I just
white
figured that
culture
out.
is like skateboarding and snowboarding, right? Like think about the things that have
But that's American culture.
but that's American culture.
So
Right.
Just like black culture is American culture. Like
Right.
so you can't really draw these lines of like it's just about white or it's just about this or it's just about that, right? Like it's
But
about everyone.
I just had this realization the other day, Ben, and that for me was sort of a big deal because other white people get upset about like, they feel sometimes like they're constantly being derided because like, what do you mean there's no white culture? Like they don't understand that because to them, that means you're saying they don't have a culture, which is not what that means.
No, it means that the culture is technically Irish, or
Right,
it's German,
exactly.
or it's
Or
British,
Italian.
or
Exactly.
it's French, or it's
And the only
Swedish,
reason-
or
Yes.
Finnish, or
And the only reason we call black culture, because that shouldn't be a thing either, right?
it would be African or it would be-
Senegalese or
Right.
Ghanaian. The only reason that doesn't exist is because of slavery.
Exactly.
Slavery created this division of black American culture. So the experience is inherent to being black American, which is why you might meet an African in New York who does not relate to the black American experience because they're not a black American. So I think white, there are
not
probably
black American yet.
right, sure, exactly.
You will be indoctrinated as soon as you get pulled over, sir.
Well, that's the first piece. But I think some white people feel left out because and there may be even good white people out there who don't understand like why do I have nothing? And I think it's important to realize like no, you do. But look at what your
Well, and-
family's culture actually is.
Well, and there's that, right? You have that connection, and there's plenty of things that we do as Americans, and that's why I started it by saying we have to have a conversation about what is American.
Yep.
And I think that is kind of where people miss the mark.
And ain't that fucked up that you know what is American? Football. And that's what's so crazy to me is now we're living in a time, and understandably why, where the NFL has become this incredibly divisive issue. And it's very hard for me as and I'm curious how you feel about it, as a very progressive person, Ebro, we struggle with this because we love football. And in fact, it's maybe my favorite piece of American culture.
How about this? The reason I don't protest watching football is because I've always thought that America had flaws and NFL was a representation of American culture. You have
Great
these
stuff and flaws.
Right. You have, well, not only that, but you have these super rich white people who pay poor black kids
Yep.
to bash their fucking heads in for some good money to entertain the rest of the country. That is a part of our American entertainment system from the beginning. Pay the black people to entertain us, and then just don't let them own anything. Don't let them give any of this money back to their community. don't. Matter of fact, once they get some money, let's indoctrinate them away from their community into other communities so that they can't even uplift their people who look like them and or
But there's been
live like them.
Don't you think there's probably been progression over the years of
There
where
has, but
they're
I'm just
okay
saying-
with people, they're okay with you giving back to your own community from your own money. But if you bring those issues to the forefront and particularly mix it up with the national anthem,
Yeah.
so
Now
we're-
we have a problem.
So how
Now
do
we
you
have a
how do
problem.
you deal with this? Because I know politically you have and socially you have to feel and be in a similar place with Colin Kaepernick, but at the same time, that 12th man and that Seahawks fan in you, it must be a struggle.
Yes, of course. I support Colin Kaepernick 100%. I did watch the season opener. You know, it's difficult. I love football. And, you know, it's interesting. I took my daughter to the Mariners game the other day for the first time.
Hey, you already at sports. You beat me, man. I didn't take you to a sports game yet.
You gotta get
Come on,
it
fam.
in. And
Sloane. Damn.
and actually Wands, who sang Thrift Shop Hook, was singing the national anthem
Oh, really?
at the game. But you know, I had that moment, and I've been on the field at Seahawks games when, you know, after Kaepernick started kneeling, where it's like, okay, what's my move here? Like, I'm on the field, like this is about to be a thing. And for the first time, Sloane and I kneeled together at the Mariners game for the national anthem.
That's dope.
And
That's tight.
and you know, I say that to say that it's difficult to boycott something that we're so far removed from actually, like, it's a statement, right? It's a statement that should be made. Like, I so support what Kaepernick is doing, but is me not watching the Seahawks game actually going to make an impact? No, it's not. It's a personal thing. And, you know, there's contradictions in that. You know, I could call myself out for that. That's problematic.
Hey, Michael Bennett's the biggest supporter of Colin Kaepernick. Guess what he's doing this year?
Playing football.
Guess what Colin Kaepernick would be doing?
Playing football.
If he,
Yeah.
So it's very tough.
And
it's
also,
tough.
too, in the Michael Bennett situation, the NFL put out a letter and they completely support him.
Did they?
Yeah,
Yes.
right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
Because
they
I saw
said-
the Seahawks did. The NFL did.
The NFL.
The
Goodell did.
NFL.
Because I
Goodell.
saw Las Vegas
And
police department was getting real reckless with
well,
that.
and
letter.
the Las Vegas Police Department went back at the NFL like, oh, you're going to support this guy who desecrates our flag? And
yeah,
why-
that's not who Michael
which-
Bennett is. I mean,
no.
that is nothing.
But
Like, Michael
you're
Bennett
supposed
is
to
one of
be
the
a
most
police
solid
department
people
that's
in the NFL.
You're a police department supposed to be unbiased. Clearly, you're biased.
Yeah, your
And
whole
you're
statement
biased
was
against
biased.
It
Michael
has
Bennett.
nothing to do. It has nothing to
And
do
let's
with your
take it a step
actions.
further. Why is kneeling for the national anthem, right? Where you're clearly saying, I am disappointed in my country.
Yeah.
Kneeling. Like, I'm going to take a knee because there's things taking place that I'm unhappy about. Why is I still don't understand why that's such a big deal.
Right.
And we,
I
and we
from the
keep
be-
bringing up the fact that people who have been abusing drugs, abusing their wives, you know what I mean? It's like have
Murderers.
been murderers, animal abusers are still getting the chance to play.
Yeah.
That to me is crazy.
Well,
It's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, I've never understood the kneel. Now does Bennett sit?
Yeah, he just
Bennett sits. I actually could have a different argument about sitting, but to your point, kneeling to me was always so respectful. It was being like
I
know
always thought sitting was more disrespectful
than
than kneeling.
Yeah, kneeling.
Sitting's like, I don't care.
Yes.
Right.
Whereas
Complete
Kneeling's like,
disregard.
this is an intentional decision.
Right.
Because Marshawn Lynch sits all the time.
He just Marshawn
Right.
just didn't feel like standing up. Let's just keep it 1,000. That's Marshawn.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like that's clearly like, yo, I'm not fucking with it. I'm good.
Yeah.
Versus kneeling is like, no. I'm taking a knee because I am disappointed in my country. I'm disappointed in the way things are being handled in this country. But with all due respect to veterans and anyone else and what the flag represents to the country, I'm here and present. Not like I'm not even present at all. We can make that argument.
Are you
Nobody does.
Are you tight with Michael Bennett? Mm-hmm. And everyone says he's just the best guy.
He is. Great dude.
And have you spoken to him since the situation or not? Mm-hmm. And I know you can't reveal anything about the case or whatever that's going on, but what have you heard from him?
I just texted. I just reached out to him and just let him know, like, you know, I'm here for you. And you know, he's been working with another friend of mine, a teacher in Seattle, Jesse Hagopian, who's super active. Like, he's gotten like all the kids in Seattle public schools. Like, he had Garfield High School where I went to high school. Like, they were kneeling, you know, from the jump. All the teachers have walked out. All the kids wearing Black Lives Matter shirts. Like, he's really active. Michael's working with him. So we're kind of all in communication. But I just reached out and was like, you know what? Like, if there's anything that I can do, I signed the letter in support. And, you know, that's fam. He's just a great person. He's one of those dudes that's always doing something and is very service oriented. Not only is he on some activism shit, like he's very about the
Service.
people. Yes, about the people. Like that's what it should be about. And a great football player.
Do you get the sense that your concert audience, which, you know, post your pop success obviously is a pretty white audience at times, do you get the sense that they're on board with the messaging of your music, or do you sometimes think some of these people don't get it?
You know, it surprises me. I think most people get it. But then again, people are really dumb, man. Like I'll say some shit about Trump at a show. Or I'll talk about marriage equality going in the same love. And, you know, depending on the show, depending on the area of the country.
Geography. Man.
Yeah, depending, like, if it's a corporate gig, you know, and people are just kind of there, like, getting drunk with their friends, and they're like, oh, like, I've heard Thrift Shop before, like, let's check this out. You know, I'll get some booze. And I'm like, at this point, I'm just, if you're going to the show in 2017 and you don't know what I'm about politically, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. I don't need your money. I don't need you as a fan. And you don't need to be here. Fucking leave. Like, call it what it is.
And you don't need the money. Your watch is just, I'm borderline blind from the wrist situation.
Rosenberg keeps looking at it.
No, I
caught him a couple times.
I know, it's hard.
Rosenberg always counts people's money.
Yeah.
He's
I
a
admit
counter
it.
of people's money.
I gave up on counting his at a certain point.
But,
I was like,
but
that's
that
a lot of
just,
money.
you were counting.
Oh yeah, I was up to I think 6.3 million, and then I at that point I said, you know what, enough is enough. But do you feel an immense sense of pride about what Same Love was a part of? Because I truly believe that, silly as it may sound, and there are people out there who's like, Same Love's cheesy, but Same Love, I truly believe, contributed to us getting to a different level with acceptance of homosexuality in our culture. Like, you created a song on pop radio across the country that got all kinds of people who had never even had a conversation about gay people to have to look that issue right in the face.
Yeah.
Are you proud of that song? Do you think it made an impact?
Of course. It's probably the song that I'm the most proud of out of everything that I've written. And yeah, it just came at a pivotal time. It came at one of those crossroads points in American.
The timing was not that you planned it that way, but that's
I didn't,
where it was at.
Yeah, it was where we were at. It was what was heavy on my heart. It was the articles I was reading. It was what was happening to kids getting bullied in school. It was like the usage of the F word, and you know, it was all of those moments. And you know, at the time, like Barack had just come out in support of gay marriage. Like up until that point, it took him a minute to come around. It took him some years to come around. So, you know, we're an evolving society. We evolve as people, and I think that yeah, I'm super proud of what Same Love did. And I would never like take any credit of, you know, legalization or anything like that. But I do think that being a voice for that and then radio embracing it the way that it did, I thought that, you know, something I'm gonna be proud of forever.
How many special moments have you had with fans who've shared like your song or your message helped me accept who I am or come out?
I mean, too many to count. It's been amazing, you know, to watch people get married to it. You know, we were having people propose on stage at shows. People would hit us up like, yo, can I propose to my girlfriend or to my boyfriend? And we had so many amazing moments with that record. And still, like for me, it still puts goosebumps on my arm to be able to go to Budapest a couple weeks ago and watch people singing it, or in places, you know, right now.
You know it's not accepted.
Where it's not accepted. Like they're fighting over in Australia right now. I'm about to go do the NRL, National Rugby League, which I know very well. I follow the NRL very much so.
Really?
Not at all. But I'm learning and I'm going and I'm doing I'm doing the Super Bowl of the NRL.
Wow.
And they're fighting over, you know, marriage equality right now in Australia. So I get to go perform, you know, kind of a medley of songs, and Same Love's going to be one of those records in front of, you know, 90,000 people and 10 million people on TV. You know, to me, those are the moments that that just, it puts it all in perspective, and you realize that it's bigger than yourself, and that you're affecting people's lives. Like that's the highest kind of ranking I can give myself in terms of the music that I've made.
Are you at this point, and when you think about your career, and this new album that you have out, which, I mean, it's amazing to do an interview with someone and they're not just like, don't forget my album, don't forget my album, don't forget my album.
I was about to get there. I was about to ship this whole thing.
The album, Macklemore's latest album, and no Ryan Lewis on the album at all? Because I remember when we first had a conversation, you were like, well, he's doing some things, I'm doing some things. It's love. We'll work together again, obviously, but he didn't produce anything on the album?
He didn't produce anything. It comes out next
Friday.
week. Next Friday. And no, he didn't. We got up in the studio a little bit, but no, he's not on the album. But yeah, it's all good. It's all love.
Yeah.
It's all.
Who is on the album?
Who's on the album? It's primarily produced by Budo, who's done a lot of work with me in the past, and on the last record with me and Ryan, and the young homie Tyler Dops. And who's on the album? Got Offset on the album.
Offset got raps. He was mad at me for a while, but he got raps.
No, you guys are good.
Yeah, call it what it is. He can.
How much you had to pay him though for his rap?
Stop.
He can rap.
Did you pay him $250,000 for his rap?
He said he's getting $250,000. So
Stop.
we need to show.
Hot more. You paid more than that. More than that.
No, next subject.
Stop.
All right, who else you got?
Yeah, Offset wasn't happy about that. We actually talked about that. He wasn't feeling it. Who else? We got Lil Bo. We got Kesha. I got.
Why Kesha? And I heard Kesha's new song is supposed to be incredible, by the way.
You haven't heard it?
I've not heard it yet.
Yeah, Ryan produced it.
Oh, Ryan did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first thing I heard because I've never thought anything about Kesha one way or the other. And I know the song's like about the situation, right?
Yeah.
And I heard it was really dope. But why did you think of her for the album?
Because I heard that song and I was like, damn, Kesha can sing. And
I didn't know she could sing.
I didn't know that.
No one did.
Never
I didn't know that. I knew her from kind of hearing her in the club periphery like back in the day. And then I heard that record and was like, whoa, she is amazing. So we got a dope record. And then a bunch of people from Seattle. Like that's what I always kind of do is collaborate with people locally. People that no one's really heard of.
Stay true to your base. Stay true to your city.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff, it gets so political. Like at this point in my career, I want to work with other people. Like I'm not like, yo, I need like 3 verses on every single song. Like I need to prove, I'm trying to make the best record possible. Like I might write the hook and be like, you know what? Somebody else can actually sing this. Or like someone else is going to sound better doing this. Like I'm going to play my position. I think, very much like, in the way that Kanye does it, where he's like got a ton of features and that's the collaborative spirit. That's what I wanted to do with this album is like, let me work with a bunch of different people. Let's have fun in the studio. And I lost where I was going with that when I started.
Yeah, but you're saying that you're not like, it doesn't matter what role you play. So you're open to having lots of people.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So in the industry, it gets so, it's a bitch to try to track people down and hit
Label
people
politics,
up and then and then all
clearances.
that. Like, I would rather work with someone that like doesn't know what a publishing deal is, not so I can like fuck
Rip
them
them
over,
off. No,
but
so you
because
can
I can
be the
like,
white guy
yo.
who steals their money and just makes a ton.
So I can work with people and it doesn't have to go through all these levels.
Yeah.
Like that's just better. And oftentimes the music's doper and it doesn't look like, oh, I'm just getting like who's popping at the moment and I'm gonna get them to hop on my shit and then I'll get their fan base and all that. Like that never works.
And you're
you give
giving them an opportunity. Bam.
Yeah.
Now all of a
amazing.
sudden they have a record with you.
Yeah.
And
It's a win-win. And some of those songs are the best, although this one with Offset's
Super duper.
it's a banger.
What are you? I'm sorry.
ahead.
What
No,
are you
go ahead.
listening to right now? What artists are you feeling? Any new artists that you're like? You don't necessarily have to work with them, but just enjoy their projects.
I like the new Ferg.
Fergus popping.
Ferg's popping.
Yeah.
Plain Jane is great.
Fire.
Who else? What am I? Can I look at my phone?
Even though
Can I
your
cheat?
your watch is the opposite of Plain Jane.
Can I
Let's keep it a thousand.
cheat?
No, I know it's definitely
That's what Plain Jane's about. I didn't realize that at first.
That was about a watch?
Thought
not,
about a girl.
not icing out the Rolex.
It's about not putting ice on the Rolex.
I like 21 Savage.
But Ben Baller did the chain.
Ben Baller did the chain. Fact.
Prezi plain Jane.
Right.
I thought Tyler's album was really good.
Yo, Tyler's album is.
Got some
I like it
things.
too.
That was
really
really like I never really delved into his projects like that.
It's
like,
the best one. I mean,
Yeah.
there are
Like
other
this
ones
one?
that are good, but the vibe he created on this one he found his spot.
Yeah, SZA's album's really dope.
Doesn't even make sense, that album.
And then I'm just always listening to John Coltrane
Really, that's your thing?
every day.
What? How long has that been a thing for you?
Probably 20 years.
Oh, really?
That's why you got so many horns on projects and shit
Yeah.
like that. I never knew that. I was like, yo, this guy loves a brass. He'll
Yeah.
bring a brass instrument out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's
what's
why.
what's your scene in which you're listening to Coltrane? Do you drive to it or sit at home?
It's mostly at home. It's mostly nighttime. But yeah, in the whip, I'm listening to rap music.
Got it. Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
But your career now is one of you've accomplished pretty much everything. And it's an interesting place for you to be because while it didn't happen fast,
Yeah.
when it happened fast.
Yeah.
Like after the hard work in the underground and touring and doing all, but then all of a sudden this huge explosion, and then now you get to kind of do whatever you want. Is that how you feel? Like I can do whatever I want and ride off into the sunset? Like it's interesting to talk to someone in your space.
Yeah.
Because what becomes the future now? Is it about breaking new artists? Is it more about business? Is it about like do you
That's a
write?
great question.
Like I could see you like listening to some of your projects. I was like, yo, this dude's gonna do like a Broadway play at
Yeah.
some point. He's gonna do a play.
Maybe I do feel like I get to do whatever I want right now. And that's a really dope feeling. I felt like with the last album, there was so much pressure that we put on ourselves, after the heist. And we took so much time off touring and working that album till it was dead. And, and then I'm like, was relapsing during that time period and, trying to get back into the studio after all this success. It was a difficult album to make. And then once that came out, I just felt free. I was like, okay, like I get to do whatever I want at this point. And then Ryan and I, had the conversation. We're like, yo, let's take some time off. And then I was like, oh shit, like what do I do? Like I've only worked with this one person. It's like, who do I get in the studio with? Like, how does this work? Like, this is hella foreign to me.
It's like being single.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking it was like a breakup. Like I don't
Yeah.
even where is
Who
where
do I
is
hook up
the-
with now? What
how do
happens
you use
after?
the washing machine?
Right.
I have to use condoms again.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, I don't trust this guy.
So, and then I got back in the studio and just was like, you know what? For the month of November, I'm gonna make a song a day. And I don't care what it is, I'm just gonna make it. And that happened. And then the momentum just started. And I was in the crib. I had my daughter upstairs. I was downstairs making music. And it was the best situation. I was just banging out tracks. And that's what this shit's about. I didn't feel pressure. I was like, yo, the world. And this is the thing that people always ask me is like, yo, like with everything that's going on in the world right now, I know you got some crazy stuff. It's about to come out your album. I'm like, no, I didn't talk about shit. Like, I mean, there's concepts on it, but I wasn't like, yo, I need to talk about, I need to make White Privilege 3 right now, and I need to talk about.
We've been
the
doing it
Trump-
the whole time.
Yeah, like
You were ahead
I
of the
would rather,
curve.
Yeah.
I would rather come on here and have the conversation than feel like because people are expecting it, I need to talk about Trump or I need to talk about white supremacy again. Like, I would like to do that when it's heavy on my heart, and I feel like I feel compelled. Like I made a song after Trump got elected the next day because that was heavy on my heart. Like, how am I gonna raise a daughter in a world of a Trump presidency? Like, there goes a song, but I don't want to make it contrived. I don't want to make it on some like, oh, this is what people know me for, and that's what this album is.
I think somewhere on this album, whether you just write it in the credits or it's like a skit, right? You need to have something that just clearly starts or even ends the album where you go, I told y'all this shit was fucked up. And that's it. Because then that is kind of like, I've already said it.
Yeah.
Y'all thought I was playing. There was people who thought I was overreacting, over-dramatizing it. I've talked about it every which way from Sunday.
Right.
Now we're here. It was like, it was the day after Trump got elected. I came in and laughed. It was an awkward, sad, but like shit laugh.
Yeah.
But that was all I had left. After years of talking about this
Exactly.
shit that could actually be and how bad it could actually get, we're here now. And at a certain point, you feel like, I need other people to talk about it now.
Yeah. Need other people to talk about it. And music is resistance, period. Music uplifts. Music makes us cry. Music makes us feel. It makes us dance. It brings out all emotion inside of us. Now, I don't need to specifically talk about an issue in order to have a song of resistance. Like Glorious is a resistance song.
Right.
Like, you know, like Kendrick's All Right turned into like the anthem, and it wasn't necessarily supposed to be that. You know, I mean, the chorus pertained to it, but it wasn't like he didn't write that like, yo, this is about to be this
This is
anthem.
the Black Lives Matter anthem.
Yeah,
No.
it took on that shape.
Yeah.
That to me is what music has the power to do, and I don't need to just keep jumping from topic to topic in order to do it. And in a lot of ways, I feel like this new music is where I'm at in life. It's not, and it might be polarizing to some of my like, you have a message. You know, you're the guy with the message who talks about this. It might be polarizing. You know, it might get some of those fans on like I thought Macklemore was really about that life.
I thought he was super woke.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do anything else but preach.
But but which is funny too, because it's not like you didn't get hate for being woke too. Because
You're
hate
gonna
no
get
matter
hate
what.
for anything.
You
Someone
can't.
asked me the other day, they were like, you know, they were talking, I was in an interview and they were talking about, you know, like, you know, isn't it ironic that you can, you know, step out of the conversation when you want? I was like, that's very true. Like as a white person, like I can jump in and jump out. Like that is 100% true. There is irony there. It's messed up. And, you know, I was like, but to me, this is real life. Like there's contradiction here. There is pieces that don't add up. I am problematic. And I was like, you know what? Right now, I'm going to go drive in a Maybach to an AA meeting. And then from the AA meeting, I'm going to go work with some youth and do some service work. And from there, I'm going to drive home and I might stop to hang out with my daughter, and I might stop at the Gucci store on the way home. That is who I am. That is authentically me. That's not me like leaving out the Gucci store and what car I drove to go to the AA meeting, and that's letting everything out there. To me, that's the music that I made on this album. I was like, I'm not trying to uphold any image. I'm not trying to be like the social, you know, political dude on every record. That's just not who I am 100% of the time. That's not that that stuff doesn't matter, that I don't have those conversations, or even that if just because I'm not rapping about it doesn't mean that I'm not in the community by any means. It just means that I want to take a break.
I want to do something different. People do things, but you know what? People are full of shit because people do different shit all the time.
Yep.
And
Like,
no one who complains to you actually does anything. So.
Every Black Lives Matter person that uses their IG, or every person that's protesting pipelines or issues for Native Americans or issues for Puerto Rico or what's going on with hurricane and da. Those people they take breaks too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They go and do other things, even though that is their primary passion. That's what normal humans do. You know, and there are some people who that's their job to be inundated with every day. And I know people who organize the Women's March, and they go out and have some drinks with their girls every once in a while and have a good time. You know what I mean? Like they're not always on Women's March watch. You know what
I
mean?
mean,
So,
when we made White Privilege 2, you know, we reached out to the founders of BLM, Patrice and Opal and Alicia, and we met with all of them individually at different times. And I go into the meeting like, okay, like I gotta be super on point. Da-na-na-na-na. And like 2 minutes into it, I'm like, oh, this is the homie. Like why? Yeah. Like they're just people. We're all people. Yeah. Like we don't uphold this thing all the time. Like we have to say the right thing. We can't do this. We can't say that. Like it's just where people are trying to figure it out.
Life isn't a Twitter feed. When you're actually in real life, it's just people being.
Yes.
But when you're worried about the constant drag,
yes,
everything's about being dragged.
Yes.
The avoidance of being dragged or intentionally being dragged, whatever it is. But when you're dealing with people, you find that that's not an issue.
yeah, but then you got to turn and be like me. Which
Well, I was gonna say you're.
you want the drag. Bring the drag.
No,
Yeah, you
you're
do like the
superhuman.
drag.
He's superhuman when it comes to that. Either that, or one day he's just going to explode and kill someone. But he really doesn't get bothered by it at all. I'm envious of it. Like, I mean, he does retweet shit that I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you saying that?
Because people, the level
Shut the
of
fuck up, pussy.
no, but the
Ebro,
level
that's an Ebro classic. You can put that on a t-shirt.
Shut the fuck up, pussy. No, but the level of
Yo, that's
emotional.
problematic, bro. Check your
Yo, that's
patriarchy.
super problematic, fams. Drag. He doesn't care. Whatever,
So
retweet
what?
it.
So stop being simple. But I think the level of emotional investment that I see people put into social media is sometimes entertaining to me because it's like, but you could be doing so many other great things with that energy, right? But you're putting it into 140 characters and you think that that's going to fuck with my life, like where I'm from and how I came through this game, like your little 140 characters is going to damage me. I make no money on social media. I don't have like one endorser. So I can say what the fuck I want. You know what I mean? So I think that's the freeing aspect of it. And I think in this conversation, the reason I asked you about where you are in your career is because we were recently talking about just enjoying life, right?
Yeah.
Like we did a, oddly, it was weird. It felt weird. I can't lie. It felt weird
I
to
thought
do
it felt
like
weird.
a Inyala Van Zant, like fix my life
Enjoy your
moment.
life.
But it
everything
happened
in.
yesterday because I was like, yo, we were looking for shit to talk about. And there's so much bullshit. And it's like at a certain point, you're like, Donald Trump's a dick. We've exhausted that. Like, he's an asshole. He's a troll. His wife has nudes. She's a mail order bride. I've done all that slander. This morning I told him to suck my dick. Like, it's like, whatever.
Not me, Trump.
Trump, yeah.
You kind of pointed to me. I just want to be
But,
clear.
you know, whatever. So, but you get to a point where you're like,
Call
but
him
my
suck.
life is really great. And it may not be as great as it is in this particular moment tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you sometimes want to stop and be like, yo, shit is really chill right now. Like my daughter's back in school. She sent me a I love you message. Her mom has got her doula business. Bills are paid. You know what I mean? My brother's in a healthy relationship. You know, people who were sick in my family were learning how to deal with, you know what I mean? Like you start to take stock in things being great. And that's why I asked you that question about where you were in your career.
That's a great point. And I'm going to put this album out. Gemini, September 22nd next week.
That's right.
I'm going to put it out. And then I'm going to tour it. And I'm going to tour it probably for the year. And then see where it goes, man. Like maybe I want to just be dad life. Maybe I want to write a book. Maybe I want to do a play, TV, movie. I don't know.
Maybe I want to do all of it.
Maybe I want to
the
do
same
all
damn
of it.
time.
But you know what? It's
Chill.
really difficult to navigate the music industry and not be caught up in self on the narcissistic shit.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult.
I think in entertainment period, that's a challenge.
Yes. I mean, you know, you guys are faced with the same shit. Like, I'll go from here and I'll do radio the rest of the day, and I'll do radio half the day tomorrow, and, you know, and I go home and then I do promo. You know, it's just, it doesn't stop. And it's me all the time. And how spiritually fit can I be in these seasons of like intense, the lights are on me, the mic's hot, like how spiritually fit can I be and do my job to the utmost ability? And at what point am I like, you know what, I'm just gonna fall back. Like I'd rather see my daughter go from 2.5 to 3 and be at home versus
3
like
is popping, son.
yeah. I think 2.5 is popping.
Wait till 3. 3
Yeah.
is good.
It's just
3,
getting better.
3 is like, yo, get in the whip, put your seatbelt. Yo, you want something to eat? What you
Yeah.
feel like eating? Psh, we mobbing. Yo, daddy, roll the windows down. Turn the music up. Is that
Yeah.
Sade? Yeah, that's Sade. Oh, I love Stevie Wonder. Like, you're like, woo, that's the homie now. Like, we out here.
Yeah. You went
3 is popping. 3 is popping.
3
So,
years
very
removed
sad.
from just being a little blob. Look at
yeah,
it.
look at you. You out here. Sade, Stevie. You got songs, making up songs. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, do I want to be here during that time?
No, fuck that.
Well, that's rude because I feel
Yeah.
like we have a nice time.
No,
together, but whatever.
it was a huge diss. It was a huge diss. No, but you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, do I want to miss that shit?
No, you don't.
You know,
man.
and I don't. But can I do both? I don't know. That's a question mark. That's a question mark. And
She'll be on the road with you, bro.
she was.
She was.
She was.
Oh,
But
she
at the
was.
same time, like, how healthy is it for a 2.5-year-old to be like around a bunch of adults nonstop on a tour bus? Like, that's not.
That's not it either.
That's
Normal
not,
either.
You
that's
gotta have
not
balance.
normal. You
Gotta
know, I
have
want
balance.
Sloane to go out and be social with kids her own age and to figure that out. And I don't just want to pay the nanny to raise my child.
Were you excited, especially about Sloane Stephens winning the U.S. Open? Because her name's Sloane.
I was.
That's it.
I was.
Same spelling? Is it with the E at
Yep.
the end? Nice.
Yep.
That's a moment. Does Sloane understand that Sloane won? Did she see?
It's her favorite athlete.
Is it?
Aw.
I don't think she knows.
Okay. Yeah. I figured.
It's like,
Well,
do
I
I
asked-
lie here? Or do I?
It was a
Do I
moment.
tell
Kind
the
of
truth?
ruined.
Look, pick up Gemini. His name
Next
is
Friday.
You're not going. You going Macklemore still, right? We
Yeah.
haven't changed to Ben. You're not doing a name change.
I like
You're gonna
it.
put out album Ben one day.
You know, I have thought about it.
Ben.
I have thought about it, but no. I'm sticking. I'm still trying to
I think the
sell
brand's
records
good.
here.
Yeah.
I'm
Brand's
still
strong.
trying to sell records here.
It's
Not
strong.
gonna switch it yet.
Macklemore, pick up Gemini next Friday. You say yes?
Next Friday.
Yo, give it up for him, man.
Thanks, man.
Love you for coming by and always showing
Thank
us
you
love.
guys,
Thank you,
man.
man.